Welcome back, viewers. It's time for another James Calm report here. Another half-ass production. We're coming out to the Janet Kurnatowski Gallery in Greenpoint, right?
Yes, Greenpoint.
And, well, this is kind of a special event here. We're celebrating Janet's 10-year anniversary. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, come over here. We'll take a little run through the show and we can talk about some of the pieces. Now, I've done a couple of reports on many of these artists, so maybe some of these viewers have seen some of the work before. We'll start out here with Kazimira Rafal. And I know you've been showing her for, what, 3 shows with her? Something like that?
Yeah, I think we've had at least 3 solo shows, and she's been in numerous group shows too.
So she's kind of a formalist, but most of her work is fairly small, right?
Most of
small
it
scale?
Is fairly small. I think I've had some pieces that were maybe around 30 by 30, 36 by 30, and they were the biggest.
This is James Gilroy.
And he's a new artist that I just started showing. So
how does it feel to have reached the 10-year anniversary?
It's really amazing. It doesn't even feel like it's 10 years.
Have you counted the number of shows you've put together? So that would be something like 10 a year or something like that?
About 10 a year.
So we're getting up there on around the 100 point. Elizabeth Hazen. This is oil on canvas, 24 by 20 inches. I was actually looking at this piece. This is a new piece by Mara Held, and some of the new work is getting to be very interesting. I like what she's doing. This is egg tempera on aluminum.
It's on fiberglass.
Oh, on fiberglass.
Yeah, it's very lightweight, but super rigid too.
And now Mara is Al Held's daughter, right? And
yes, she is.
She's on the board of the Al Held Foundation as well, right?
Yes, she is.
William
Holton.
This is also oil on canvas.
And he's actually using compressed air to move all the oil paint around.
Oh, so the little grooves in there are oil paint is being pushed out with this little air hose. It's a very detailed piece here. We'll get back and then we can zoom in and give the viewers a chance to see some of this detail. David Ambrose, and this is watercolor and pastel and gouache on pierced paper.
Yeah, he pierces the paper first before he lays down any watercolor or gouache work, and it's pierced from both sides. Huh. So some of it is braille-like and other points have little indentations.
I'm not even going to try to...
Sakai.
Okay.
Sakai. Katsuhisa Sakai.
Katsuhisa Sakai.
And he's initially a sculptor. He
right.
also does paintings.
I think he's curated a show for you here. Is that also correct? Didn't he curate a show?
He's had a couple sculpture shows and a painting show. He was curated into a show by James Biederman.
Ah, that was it. Okay, speaking of James Biederman.
Yes.
This is a recent piece by James.
And this is a new piece, and it's oil on linen. And he makes his own paint from pigment. And
I've known James because he used to have a space called the M3 Project Space over on North 3rd Street in Williamsburg. Speaking of Williamsburg, now you're in kind of an interesting location here because you're, I guess, technically in Greenpoint, but in certain ways you're in the eastern side of Greenpoint, and you're not that far away from what has now become known as the Bushwick neighborhood. Well, what do you think about all these kind of changing neighborhoods and the whole way things have been developing lately?
I think it's pretty interesting. I love that there's actually more galleries that are moving into the neighborhood, but I know I'm sort of in between both. I'm not Bushwick and I'm not Williamsburg. I'm still on the edge of both.
But that's not a bad position to be in.
It's not a bad place.
And here's our old friend Craig Olson's, and this piece is titled Marriage. And I think I did a report on maybe his last show here. It was maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, it was.
And this is on wood.
It's on found wood. It's urethane and pigment, and then paper.
Scott Malborn.
Yeah.
Scott's a formalist, but I like the way that he's kind of varying the layers of pigment on here and going from kind of a thin, transparent wash and then building up the layers. Tell us about this piece. I heard you talking to some clients about this.
This is a piece by Deshawn Dumas, and it actually has water trapped in between.
It's got
layers,
water stuck in there, okay.
in between layers of acrylic. And when he brought it in, it was raining, and I actually thought that there was rain on the piece.
Rain from the piece, so you thought it was damaged, but he said, no, that's part of the piece.
It's a part of the piece. Yeah, and it's really great.
So, and this is 28 by 28. Melissa Stager, is that how she pronounces it? And this is mixed media on panel. And she's got some metallic paint in there. One of the things I enjoy about your program is that you have a real commitment to paint. And you've shown a lot of painters. And you were a painter yourself, weren't you? Weren't you doing some artwork and graduated from Pratt Institute and all that?
I did, and I'm actually more of a sculptor now.
A sculptor.
Even though I'm painting the pieces. So I consider myself a sculptor that paints.
But how about your promotion of painters and kind of being a presence here in the Greenpoint, Bushwick gallery scene as someone that is promoting painters?
It's just something I really love, and I feel that it's important to give people a platform for what they're doing. And I actually found so many artists from Pratt. I think about half of the artists that I show that I've been representing are mostly from Pratt, so I'm trying to also support the local artists.
Yeah, and you've built your little community. Well, that's great. Okay, we'll look at this piece. I actually, I enjoy Chris's work. Chris Scheifel. This is acrylic and acetate. But as you can see, this is only the surface. This is like just a layer of paint, and then Chris has gone back in with Dremel tools. Is that what?
She's using a box cutter.
A box cutter to carve away the layers of paint
acrylic.
Here.
And
Acrylic.
the acetate is just in very thin sheets mixed in between layers of acrylic. It's just as support, so the piece will never stretch out past a certain point.
And she's just got it hung here on a couple of nails. Sandra Casti?
Mm-hmm. And she's using...
It's acrylic on canvas.
Yeah, it's actually ultralight, so she's making her own acrylic from Gara painted.
Well, Art Gara is one of her friends. And then each one of these little daubs has got the little curl on the top like a meringue. And here's another young artist, Shane Mcadams, and I know Shane because we both used to write for the Brook and Rail. I don't know whether he's still writing for them or not, maybe occasionally. And he kind of varies between some very abstract things and things like this. Now, you were saying that this piece also is resin here, and it's about, you said, 1.5 inches thick or something like this, that he builds up layers of pigment in?
There's ballpoint pen and layers of epoxy resin.
Sharon Morey. Oh, these are exotic.
Yeah, and that's also ultralight, so she's making her own paint. And that's also from Gara painted pigment.
I know she has a studio, or at least I've seen her work in Art Guerrera's studio out in Bushwick.
Yes.
And that looks like a little wall of vines. This is more Sarah Morey. In the back room, we're looking at Ben LaRocca, and we got to run because our battery's running out. Now, I like this. It refers obviously to Marcel Duchamp, but I also know that Ben, who is a former writer and editor at the Brook and Rail, has been remodeling his house here in Bushwick. And so this probably is a lot about his experiences there. We're going to go up. Here's a couple of pieces by Cynthia Hartling, and I know that Kate loves Cynthia, but also I think one of her shows she had here a couple years ago is one of the first Calm Reports. Tell us about these pieces. No, I like these. They're on raw linen. There's Cynthia and Jackie Mayer. A couple of little pieces. And these are all about, is that 12-inch square or something like that?
Yes.
The oil paint. Anyway, Janet Kurnatowski, congratulations on 10 years. We'll be back in 10 more years. Just keep track of you. Thanks. And thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you.